Hey everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Well, here it is, the last day of 2021, New Year's Eve, and yeah, I'm just gonna kind of throw my hat into the ring for my best of 2021. I'm only doing a top five because, well, those are the five that really kind of stand out to me. I mean, you see a lot of great knives on the table in front of you, and I tell you what, some of these knives could be 5A, 5B, 5C, however you want to look at some fantastic knives. I mean, obviously, we got knives from Finch, Spyderco, Damn Design, Rough Rider Reserve, GEC, and we've got some new ones to me in 2021. You've got Petrified Fish. I know they've been around a while, but I just hadn't checked them out until this year, and I'm really starting to be glad I did. Shielded knives as well. Some really decent knives coming from Shielded. And then you got companies like Olight. They're throwing their hat in the ring with the O knife made by Kaiser. So many. Price range varies like crazy. I mean, you've got the Rough Rider Reserves, that are in that $50 to $60 range. The O knife, 50 to 70 depending. You can get them on sale for quite a bit. The Damn Design knives, they're right there in that $50 range. Shielded, they've got some really good knives, down to like $35, which, yeah, not bad at all. Now, the reason I've got these knives out here right now is because, well, even though they didn't make my top five, they're definitely some of my favorites of 2021. And like, I really wanted to make sure I got Shielded and Petrified Fish out there because I'm really impressed with what they're doing. Now, I know I haven't seen any Shielded reviews coming so far. Those are coming very soon. We're going to kick off 2022 with a bunch of Shielded reviews, but I got to look at them and, yeah, having a lot of fun doing it. So, guys, I'm going to clear off the table. Now, if you know me, you probably have a pretty good idea. You might even know what you're going to be seeing here. You might even know. I mean, man, so many. I didn't even. And see, I ran out of room. I didn't even have a knife like the pincer up there. A great knife. Where's it at? We got to give it some love. Yeah. Another great knife from Ray Laconico. And I mean, this very well could be 5B. You know what I mean? It's a fantastic knife. But didn't quite make my top five. All right, so here we go. Here are my top five. Coming in at number five, you might not have seen this one on the table. You might be already guessing. But that is the Finch Devil's Finger. Well, why the Finch Devil's Finger? A lot of really nice Finch knives, again, this year. I chose the Devil's Finger because it has become my favorite Finch to carry. It really has. I love the way it fills my hand. It feels wonderful. Now, it's got a little bit more of, it's got a drop, but it's not quite your traditional drop. But the one thing I really like about this knife is they went with a reversible clip. And it's a wire clip. Wire clips are good. I don't know as if they're my favorite, but they're good. And I was really impressed with why they did that. Finch combines the modern, the traditional, and this is their first, and as of right now, only reversible clip knife. And I was very happy that they chose to do that. Because now you get the lefties involved, and that's one of my most... Man, I hear that comment all the time. No lefty love, no lefty love. And it's true, and I agree with it. I would love to see more companies do the lefty love, like Petrified Fish, kind of how they do their tucked in. They tuck let's see here. I don't have the knife right now, but they tuck the clip in underneath the scale. You could easily do that on both sides. I really like that. But that's kind of why I chose the Devil's Finger. Now, Don't get me wrong, guys. The Harvester, you know, the Harvester's a really good knife. It was close. It was close between the Harvester and the Devil's Finger. It really was. But that's why I chose the Devil's Finger over the Harvester, is because it had that lefty love. And, you know, I don't always, me being a right-hander, I don't always stress that enough. But companies that do, you know, add that lefty love, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. It's really, really a good option. I like it, and our left-handed friends can join the party, you know? You know what I mean? All right, my next one. Now, you guys know that for me and the channel, it's not always about the knife. And Finch is a good example of that, too. Finch is a great example of that. It's not always about the knife, the price of the knife. I get the story, the people, the, you know, everything, because that's what matters to me. I take into account a lot of different things more than just the knife. And it comes through in a lot of cases, and in some cases it's not quite as heavy as an influence. But, you know, the Finch, I'm all about the story, the blend, yeah, and that's why I like them so much. And at number 4, it is definitely about the people. That is the Mallory design Forest. I am so happy for Dylan. This is his first knife under his name, his brand. I love the design. I love the blade. Ergonomically, it is so comfortable. You can choke up. It's just an absolutely wonderful knife. Now, does it hurt that I have number 1? No, that doesn't hurt. And that was a really big surprise to me. But that's not why. That's not why it's number 4 on the list. It's number 4 on the list because of Dylan. Dylan is a wonderful person. And the knife, it's a fantastic knife. I love the feel. And it's just aesthetically pleasing to me. Just a gorgeous design. So that's why the Forest, is number 4 on my list. Now I've got 2 coming for you. Number 3 and number 2. Might be a surprise, might not be a surprise. I've talked about them quite a bit. But I went with, on number 3, I went with the 535 BK-4. This is by far my favorite of the production Bugouts. The first production metal handle, and the pattern, I mean, the splash of red doesn't hurt. But you guys know the Bugout is probably one of my favorite EDC knives. It's a great lightweight knife. It's thin. It tucks away in the pocket. You just hardly know it's even there. But when you need it, it works for you. And for me, this is just a fantastic knife. I'm really impressed with the milling that they put into the handle. That sunburst pattern, I really dig that. And for me, it's just an overall awesome knife. Really is. Now at number 2, if this one's sitting at number 3, you probably have a good idea of what's at number 2. And yeah, it's there because the surprise factor of this knife was just, it was incredible for me. And that is the Mini Adamus. It is easily my number 2. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, it held the number 1 spot for quite some time because of the surprise factor. I was so surprised that I liked this knife so much. I mean, you have the full size, you have the mini. The mini just fits me a little better. I mean, my hand just fits this knife perfectly. Now, is it beefy? Absolutely. It's a little bit different than the Bugout. It's a lot thicker. It's a lot more heavy duty. But I tell you what, it carries great, but it's going to work for you if you need a little bit harder tasks. And for me, it just makes it a really good all-around EDC knife. Now, I would carry this knife over this knife if I knew I was going to be doing a little bit more intense work, we'll call it. Can the Bugout do most everything I do? Yeah, it really can. But there's the occasions where you need something a little bit beefier. And I tell you what, the Mini Adamus for me fits that bill. Now for some, it might be the full size. For some, might be a completely different knife, and that's fine. This is my top 5 and why they are my top 5. Well, there you go. There's 5 through 2. You guys know what number 1 is. Come on now. You do. Scream it. Scream it from the mountains. Yes. Yep. The Monterey Bay Knives Sea Otter. This is an absolutely fantastic knife. Again, not only is it a fantastic knife, but it comes down to the people. And the Sea Otter is Monterey Bay's first all-U.S. made knife. That's really cool. Now, am I one that says it's got to be U.S. or nothing? Well, I mean, no. There's definitely some non-U.S. knives in here. U.S. made. I mean, the Benchmade, and both Benchmades are. But I just think it was really, really awesome that they took the time. Now, these are coming out in small batches, and by the time you see this, I'm pretty sure you guys need to keep a watch on their Instagram. Go to the website, MontereyByKnives.com. Get on their email list, because it looks like they're getting ready to drop a few more of these Sea Otters. And, I mean, it's a Laconico. It's not a Laconico. It's a Laconico influenced, because it's a Monterey Bay Knives. So definitely Sanford had a hand in this one. They all had a hand in making them. I think when I talked to them at Blade Show West, they said as for this first batch, like these they were made by 3 people. Only 3 people had their hands on these. It was really cool. And I love Ray. I love Ray's designs. Ray is an awesome, awesome person. Sanford is a wonderful, wonderful guy. Both of them are just absolutely fantastic. And this knife, oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I bought this knife, I brought it home, and I sold my small Sabenza. Yeah, that's how much I like this knife. Now, people were like, well, why'd you do that? Well, this knife is the one for me. It just is. It's an absolutely fantastic knife. It is my knife of 2021, the Monterey Bay Knives Sea Otter. The finish is fantastic. Yeah, it's the one for me. It just really, really is. It's fantastic action on these washers. I mean, come on. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. Now, you may agree, you may disagree. That's just fine. This is my top 5. Now, again, did I get to see every knife that came out in 2021? No, not even remotely. Could there be a knife that a different knife that might have been my number 1? Absolutely. It's impossible for me, really any of us, to see all the knives that were put out. And the one thing that I do realize about this top 5 is there's not a lot of budget knives in there. Have I gone away from budget knives? Absolutely not. A knife like this. This is the Petrified Fish 949X. This is another fantastic knife. And it just really doesn't want to focus on it, does it? Well, it doesn't want to show the budget knives, guys. Wow, that's odd. Well, I'm going to take it off the screen for now. But we'll go like this. Yeah, there we go. The 949X. That Flax micarta is absolutely fantastic, and it's less than $50. Now, there is a full-size one. I realize this is smaller. But no, I have definitely not gone away from the budget knives. That's just never going to happen, honestly. You know the channel. Most of the knives you see on the channel are budget knives. That's because that's where I live most of the time. Now I realize these are not, but these are some pretty special knives, and some pretty special knives that I am really, really glad to have in my collection. Now, there's my top 5 for 2021. Guys, watch out for 2022. There's some more fantastic knives out there. And I will tell you right now, do not sleep on the Tempest Knives Mach 51. I'm not saying that because Casey is my friend, or I'm saying that because that is really, really a good knife. Price-wise, I know it's going to price some people out. I know he wanted to keep it lower, but hey, it is what it is. But guys, if you can, save your pennies, because that's going to be a very, very good knife, without a doubt. QSP is building it. QSP, yeah, it's going to be a really good knife. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think. Sorry, no budget, but this is my top 5. This is how I see them for the year, and I'm just super, super glad to be able to have these knives in my collection for sure. Thanks, guys, for stopping by, checking them out with me. As always, I greatly, greatly appreciate all of you. Remember, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. You know I love talking to you. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Bye-bye.